dude. Rando Sunday episode. We're gonna crack open. I got my new haircut. The hair's a mess. I'm just gonna crack open a bubbly, and this is an Ask Me Anything episode. I've got some Milo's tea here. I'm gonna pour myself a glass of iced tea. Ah, yes, that is going to be delicious. And we're going to watch the room fill up with people, and it's going to be an Ask Me Anything episode. And maybe I'll jam a little bit. Maybe this will be a marathon. Maybe we'll go for hours. Maybe we'll go for minutes. But I'm here, and it's the end of the month. Shauna, how you doing? Glad to have you here. Ah, yes. Having a little sparkling beverage on a Sunday of this guitar hang. And glad to have people tuning in. Les Paul, yes, hit that like button. It's the end of the month. Wake up. So here's the deal, man. It's the end of the month. It's the end of November. Tomorrow is December 1st. And I'm going to be here, man. Hello there, Nick. Glad to have you here, brother. We got, it's been a good month. Happy lunch hour, Rhonda. Glad to have you here. Everybody popping in. Hit that thumbs up. Fish and salad greens and lemon juice for me. Right on. Fish and salad greens and lemon juice. That sounds delicious. That sounds delicious. I'm waiting. My wife has decided to go Black Friday shopping. So she's Black Friday shopped in Nashville. And now she's Black Friday shopping in Florida. And the goal was to get me as Christmas gift today. Ted is asking, hi, Brad, do you have a favorite guitar that you currently own? Guitars are like your children. How do you pick just one? I can't pick just one. I have several guitars that are my go-to guitars, and I go to those frequently. Today I was playing this Purple Parts Caster. I've been playing this. It's in drop tuning. I think maybe it's in D. So I've been playing that today. That's one that I grab a lot. But man, each one of these guitars brings something different to the table. So how can you pick just one? Awesome. Shauna says my Xmas gift is my brother bought me a setup bench. My request and pick. That is awesome. Bob, how you doing, brother? Earl, glad to have you here. You just got a Fractal AM4, Earl. That is amazing. How do you like it? That would be the next question. How do you like it, man? Fractal's probably the premier at this, and but you can only get Fractal through Fractal. And, I went with the Line 6. I'd never used the Helix when it came out, so that's why I went with the Helix Stadium. And I know they'll support this unit probably for another 10 years or so. And so that's what I went with. But the AM4 looks amazing. Ted says, awesome. I bought the PRS SE NF53 in dog hair white based on your review. Thank you so much, Ted. And that is a testimony that we are, we're doing good things here. So, man, thank you so much. And I think every manufacturer that might stumble upon this video, and I've got my Wildwood Guitars thing here. And, my wife is trying to get all the Christmas shopping done, like, immediately. So she asked me today what I want. I bought her Christmas present in Nashville. She wanted a necklace. She was going to buy it for herself. I says, Merry Christmas. It's your Christmas gift. I don't get to go shopping here, man. I'm in this studio all the time. Glad to have P Funk and Rhonda here, by the way. And so, you know, I bought her Christmas gift up there, something she picked out. So then she's like, okay, you know, what do you want? And I said, same budget as, you know, what I had spent on you. She said, yeah. So I personally just, you know, and I, even though I'd had a problem with the PRS Silver Sky before, I decided to take another chance on a PRS SE. So I bought the PRS SE CE24 in blue Mateo. And so that's what my wife is getting me for Christmas. Spoiler alert, dude. And I wasn't even, and they're selling super quick because it's a Sweetwater exclusive, but inexpensive, dude. $559 for a new guitar. So that's on the way. I'm looking forward to demoing that on the channel, comparing it to my custom 24, you know, comparing it to some of the other guitars. But I noticed it had the same style tuners that the PRS SE NF53 had on it. So I said, okay, those are really good tuners. It seems like the shell of the guitar is really good, and that means, you know, put some different pickups in it and put a different switch in it, and you know, it should be an amazing guitar. And you could always change pickups and stuff like that. But the bones of the instrument, I think will be great. So Johnny, how you doing, brother? So that's a spoiler alert. What will be coming up on the channel? It's a Sweetwater exclusive. Russell says, sorry, can't consume Quartet court content, explicitly boycotting them and anything they build. Seems great here otherwise, but I can't give attention to promotion for that company or their customers. Well, Russell, that seems a little harsh, bro. What's the problem with Cortec? They're the biggest. Um, Eric, we're doing a random live. I don't understand the hate. I don't understand the PRS hate. I don't understand Cortec hate. Court builds guitars for so many companies, and as far as I'm concerned, you know, they build decent stuff. But I understand some people don't like this or they don't like that. I've noticed when you demo Line 6 products, you get people that are anti that, and they come out in droves and get angry about that. And Rhonda, and then PRS. When I demo PRS stuff on the channel, I don't know what it is, why people have such strong feelings, but it reminds me, and I'm going to fix this light here. It's kind of blinding me. Um, it reminds me of like those guys that have the stickers on their truck and they're driving a Chevy truck, so they have a picture of a kid peeing on the Ford truck, or they've got a Ford and the guy's peeing, you know, a sticker with a kid peeing on the Chevy truck. I don't have anything against any particular brand. And yeah, Erickson's saying right. The technology and CNC machines they have now, the cheap guitars are made with high tolerance. Yeah, I mean, Russell, if you have a strong opinion, I mean, I appreciate that. To each their own. A Kaka is saying Gibson opening store in Wynwood, Miami in 2026. You should check it out next year. That's a great idea. I think we will probably do that. If Gibson opens a store down there, I will tell you right here, right now, we will go down there. We will do it. It would be, I think from where I'm at, maybe a 5 or 6 hour road trip. Florida is a huge state as far as the length goes, so it'd be a haul, but it's something we could do. Delicious. So glad to be with you here on a Sunday. It's the end of the month. So we're going to finish strong. Get the numbers up on the channel. Everybody get those thumbs up. Hi, Brad. I'm 6. Okay. All right. Well, that's fine, Maddie. We are a guitar-centered channel. How was the trip, Erickson? The trip was good. We had a good time, but we are glad to basically be back home. We're glad to be back home because we can get back to work and take care of, not be in confined spaces and everybody be able to do their thing. I can't do much work. Now, I put together the road trip video. That's going to go out maybe later today to members. Yeah, basically 24 hours of driving. Yeah, and that's Maddie, thank you so much for loving the channel. That's amazing. Hey, where are you located? This the channel is generally kind of adult, but we try to keep it clean. So, be aware, guys, that we do have younger people watching the channel. And I think there's important lessons here with this channel. Yeah, 6 is a good time to start your musical journey. So, are people still drinking coffee? Oh, you're from Italy. Right on. Well, we're having iced tea here and sparkling water. And if you're smart, when you grow up, stick to tea and sparkling water. Props to, let's see, props to Dave for checking inappropriate comments quick as lightning last night. Yes, thank you, Dave. And thank you for being here, Dave. I know this is random. I just thought I'm enter at the University of Music here in Italy. I hope to take my diploma in music and come. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're coming to Shelbyville. Very cool. Very cool. I wish you the best on that, man. Shelbyville. I don't. What college is there? Live stream your next road trip. Earl says, I want to be your designated drinker. Right on. Right on. Yeah, I don't remember if we had any bad comments last night. Yeah, I don't know if we had any bad comments last night. It's hard for me to keep up with it. And man, last night, I'm still tired today, but I'm better today. I got some good sleep last night, and so Rock is saying come to Memphis. We might. You never know, dude. Dave was on it fast. Thank you so much, Dave, because I could barely even read last night. Erickson, man, I hope you're feeling better. Trolls and spammers. If there were any, I didn't see them. Oh, okay, Dave. Yeah. It's like, I told one, I remember telling one guy last night, it was probably a guy who's, been here a lot on the channel, but I told him, man, look, sometimes we've got younger people here. Sometimes we've got a lot of times, ladies here. Oh, obvious beak. Okay. It's like we just kind of try to keep it clean. Look, the channel can sometimes drift into some rock and roll mayhem. And we try to skirt around the issue of those topics but still be real with people. Thank you, Nick. He says, I always watch the morning stuff, great content. I don't usually comment in live chats and I'm sometimes in and out. I do watch every morning. Thank you so much, Nick. Yeah, we, show respect to the ladies. Let's not say like, things in the comments that just aren't pleasant. There's sometimes people that like to just talk about unpleasant things. There's just no need for that, right? You might be having breakfast right now. You might be having lunch. You might be, doing your taxes or something. We just try to keep it clean. You should cover KISS Kennedy Center Honors on December 7th. Rest in peace, Space Ace. Man, I'm not familiar with the KISS Kennedy Center Honors, but that would be interesting. Yeah, good manners here is all we ask. Rhonda is having bacon. Rock says he's having coffee and donuts. I'm having a sparkling water. Yes, We have great girls that tune in to this channel, and yes, Dave, exactly. It's just not necessary. But I'm not here to talk about negative stuff. I'm here to talk about guitar chat. It's a Sunday. This could be a marathon. I'm sure I will get called. I just made lunch for Mia and then gave her a popsicle as a snack. And I'm sure at some point I could get called away. But we'll keep this thing going as long as we can. What's to the right of the lava lamp? Is that a guitar against the wall? This thing right here. If you're asking that, that is a guitar right there. There's to the right of it. Now here's a question. I did see a clip of that Erickson. Yes, I did see a other side. Oh, on this side, that may be there's that is the this is the Cyber G. The Cyber G. I did a demo on the channel. This is a cool thing. If I fire it up, I'm liable to have to babysit. So we just put this in the corner, but that's what that is. So yeah, it'll become the Mia playing the Cyber G show, and that would be fun. How many guitars do you have? I'm just roughly guesstimating somewhere around 25 to 30. I don't know. I don't know. How is Mia coming with that? We need to, when we get, see, we've been gone for a week. I haven't even played guitar for a week. So this week I'm gonna pull it out with her and get her to play it. You know, it's just something to you know, kind of experiment with music and stuff like that. Question: Alnico 5 or Alnico 2? Dean, to be honest with you, man, I'd be happy with either one. I think the Alnico 2 sound better in humbucking pickups. If I'm not, if it kind of gives it a single coil sound, if I remember correctly. To be honest, as long as the pickups aren't ceramic, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not a fan of ceramic pickups. But you know what? In some circumstances, they might be good. I probably have a guitar around here somewhere, a few of them that have that. So yeah, that's the deal with that. As far as Alnico, just as long as it's Alnico, I'm happy. Every one of these guitars has different pickups in them, and they have different tones. And so, thank you, Dean. Thank you for being here, brother. Um, so, so yeah, that's the deal, man. As far as pickups, there's different ones. Uh, uh, what's his name? Rock is saying he found out that he liked P90s too. Man, I had one guitar with P90s and I sold it. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. For me, I just didn't really get it. It was no. They were noisy. I used them a little bit. I did some videos with it, but Newcastle was asking, "What's your opinion on Sustainiac infinite sustain guitars?" I don't see a need for it myself. When I think of that Sustainiac pickup sound, I think of Eddie Van Halen on the reunion tour with Sammy, where Eddie was in rough shape and he was just turning on the Sustainiac and just droning notes. And that was the only time I ever basically walked out of a Van Halen concert. Eddie was in a bad way, and I felt like he was using the Sustainiac as just a way to just fill space, and so for me, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. That it's lots of sustains. Thank you. Madid says, I've seen your review about Line 6 Helix Stadium. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, Eddie Van Halen was in rough shape. In fact, I remember talking to one of the famous roadies that worked with Van Halen and was on that tour. And Eddie was belligerent on a plane, literally like they could not control him. And the roadie told me that he literally went up and knocked let's just say eliminated the threat at the time just to get him to chill out. So Drew says he just got a 12 pack of strings going into the field. Awesome. Had morning where switching guitars was difficult with unclear fretting. Same scale length, relief and action. Not bad enough where I thought I should to ER. Okay, I'm not sure. Newcastle, thank you so much, brother. It's the end of the month and everything helps to get this channel, to keep it going. Rock says he liked the carbon fiber guitar, speaker guitar. Those carbon fiber speaker guitars are on sale. Go to my Amazon video and there's a link to the Black Friday and now Cyber Monday stuff. So am I going to have to get up tomorrow morning and put together a Cyber Monday video? Maybe I do. Maybe I do. The Black Friday videos, especially the Amazon one, man, it continued to get views for a long time. P-Funk says he purposely didn't go see Van Halen for years until Edward got sober, and I'm a huge fan. Dude, that was the most disappointing. Thank you, Erickson. Thank you so much, brother. You rock. I'm trying to hit that like and the heart. Thank you, brother. Yeah, dude, that was the most disappointing seeing it. And it's like, I heard Sammy say that, I think in his book, that whenever Edward came out and had his hair tied up in that like, I don't know what you call it, a samurai bun. He looked like one of the guys in the Sneetches in Dr. Seuss. He had the thing on his head with his hair tied up. And he said whenever Eddie would come out like that, he knew he was, three sheets to the wind. And that was a rough tour. You could tell Alex and Michael and Sammy were kind of carrying him through the finish line on those shows, and that was a rough thing to see, man. Alex says he just got a new record player. Do you listen to vinyl? Yes, Alex. I grew up listening to vinyl, but at this point in my life, I don't own a lot of records and I don't have a turntable. So, yeah, we got stars on our Sneetches. Yeah, it was not good. Dean, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it, brother. Very much. We're going to have a little toast of iced tea here. Yeah, that was the thing that Sammy said. When he had the pineapple head thing going, he knew it was, and it was like, I think after the drum solo, Edward came out when I went and saw him, and he had the pineapple head thing going, and dude, he would just hit the Sustainiac on the thing, and I can remember seeing the Guns N' Roses at the height of of their partying days. And Slash being buzzed, right? Slash being buzzed. But Edward on that comeback tour with Sammy, that was beyond wherever Slash seemed to exist back in those days. And Edward was such a player that always was seemingly on top. But I had had people tell me, back in the day they had seen, it catches up with you. The lack of sleep and stuff, it eventually catches up to you. So thank you, Alex. Thank you, brother. Uh, so man, it's like this, man. It's Sunday. It's the end of the month. Tomorrow is December 1st. We'll anoint ourselves with the pick and continue on this marathon. Slash is a bit sloppy live. Newcastle says still an amazing guitar player. Yeah, I think part of Slash's sound is that grease. He's got grease on it. Edward has his own grease, but Edward had a very precise grease, a very good feel to his. Erickson saying Sunday is his don't have to run day. It's my fun day, my don't have to run day. Thoughts on DiMarzio Super D pickups? Akaka, that is those are legendary pickups. I think those are ceramic, if I'm not correct, but they're popular pickups and for good reason. I think a lot. Like, dude, if you can get yourself a old Les Paul that somebody slapped those in it, it's a sound, man. It's a cool sound, and I would not thumb my nose up at those pickups. Yes, there's been a lot of different pickups that come along since, but for rock and roll, for driving an amp, and it wasn't Edwards Bumblebee Charvel, the yellow and black that now rests in peace with Dimebag Darrell. Didn't that have a super distortion Duncan in it? I think it did. So that's my opinion on that. Even though I'm not a huge fan of ceramic pickups, there's a time and a place. It might be the right thing. Uh, Somebody is saying, I heard that Jimmy Page never played the same solo twice. A lot of the old school cats are like that. I never play the same solo twice. It got to a point for me on the road where I just said, look, man, I gotta have some room, man. I can't be up here just going through the motions every night. I gotta express myself, man. But you know what, dude? We're in a world now where there's very little of that on stage. Matthew's saying, played a pub gig last night to two people. How do you deal with the gigs when nobody shows up? I still got paid, but it's still disappointing to play to nobody. Trying to view it as a paid practice. That's the first thing that we think about is it's a paid rehearsal. We used to say, well, had a paid rehearsal. But man, you can't. Here's what's really hard about playing to an empty club. The reality is, if nobody shows up, you're very highly unlikely to get booked again. That's where the problem lies. If you can't get people to these gigs, you need to work on your promotion angle. You need to try to do something, figure out some way, maybe invite some other players to sit in, maybe do something, try to promotion, or we're going to play this this tribute to somebody, or you've got to fill seats. So while sometimes it's just a dead night, sometimes you play and there's something going on in town, and no matter what you do, I mean, we used to play a gig in Nashville every Thursday. Every Thursday in Nashville, they used to have a thing called Dancing in the District. And we used to call it Drinking in the District because essentially that's what it was. It was a free concert downtown, and everybody would be out in the street drinking, and we called it Drinking in the District. Well, this club was like, hey, I know there's Drinking in the District going on, but would you guys like to play it and just do your own thing, build a following, and maybe if Drinking in the District gets rained out, we'll have like a packed, crowd, because hey, let's go to Third and Lindsley. You know, it was like there wasn't a lot of other stuff going on in town at that time. But we would play every Thursday, and we eventually built up a pretty good crowd that would come that didn't want to deal with the traffic and the madness at the drinking and the district thing. But you know what? Every time we played, it never rained once. So it was really reliant on us bringing people there. And we were competing against, in some cases, national acts with pretty decent names. But we had to figure out a way to get people to that gig. So that's something to think about, man. I'm sorry you had a bad gig. You have to make the fans feel like family, Erickson. That is so true. And look, dude, back in those days, we would flirt, we would do whatever we could to get people to come to the show. And so you would have girls coming, you would have their friends. Hey, bring some friends. My bass player's single. Why don't you bring some girlfriends? We're gonna have a party, and hey, we'll have an after party. And when you get it really jumping, we would have it so we'd have an after party after the show. And that's when you know you've built, hey, just tell hey, we're going to all go back to the studio and party at the studio afterwards, or we're going to go back and a party at the rehearsal facility, or we're going to all go back to the Shock House and rage. Rock says he begs his friends to bring friends. Yeah, man, you gotta really work. Exhorta says change the band name to Free Beer. Uh, yeah, you gotta think of something. And man, you know what? I've oftentimes when would get booked on these gigs, I would ask the club owner, "Hey, can we do a beer special? Can we do something I can promote?" And a lot of the time, they just no, it would be like no beer special, no whatever. So then I've got to try to come up with some way to get people to go, dude. It's not easy. It's probably the most important things. Yeah, Mike P. Funk is referencing Animal House. Can you find 3 dates for my friends? Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we would do. Look, man, the great thing about, back in the day on the Sunset Strip is we would have to invite, dozens and dozens of girls to shows. And we've got our great friends P Funk and Johnny D and all the other cast of characters that when we would sneak out after the show because we couldn't run off with dozens of girls. You got P Funk, you got Johnny D, you got everybody else talking, and you build this community that sometimes the girls are coming to see your friends, and that, you know what, there's nothing wrong with that. You're building, and look, your friends like it because there's people. Jim Simmons says, Brad, did you play 80s metal when you played gigs? When I was on the Sunset Strip, I played 80s metal. When I left LA, I didn't really play 80s metal. Not really. No. It very rarely, very rarely. So yeah, that's the deal. Yeah, P Funk was the party. Let's face it. You could, if you knew P Funk was going to be there, it took some of the pressure off you having to go and after the gig, talk to every girl in the room. You just give P Funk a couple complimentary pops, wind him up, and hey, Mike, go entertain these girls over here, man. So yeah, that's the deal. And P Funk is still the party. And I edited today, and I've got it up on the channel. But my dad made a special holiday message for P Funk, so that's going to be released on the channel pretty soon. One Nation Under the Groove, the P Funk, yes indeed. Delicious. Yeah, a holiday, a special greeting for the holiday season. This essentially, this trip to Nashville is going to be branded as the Xmas Nashville visit. So, because we went to Gaylord Opryland Hotel and you see the lights and all that. So that will be released soon. I've got a walk and talk from Nashville in the cold with me in a hoodie, showing you Opryland and all that stuff. Uh, no, that's my dad. That's my dad, Erickson. Yeah. Uh, my dad's the only one you could probably you could get away with that. He understands the concept of a drunk dial, but my dad forgot why P Funk drunk dialed my dad. My dad forgot. I said, well, he thought he was calling me. And he goes, oh. So you should do a retrospective while walking along the Sunset Strip, telling your stories of debauchery. That's a great idea, MJB. And if I can get out there again, which we're gonna try to go to the NAMM show this year. We're gonna seriously try to get out there. But man, this traveling stuff is expensive, dude. This trip to Nashville was probably the least expensive trip we've done. We literally, like, we would eat like breakfast bars for breakfast. We would eat a late lunch, and then that would, it was literally, we didn't get to go to the places that we go. Like Nashville has some great food and stuff, but man, this trip, it just seemed like, man, we didn't really get to go to our usual places and have these amazing meals and all that, and we saved a lot of money by just eating stuff in the room, but man, my wife lost 3 pounds on the trip. Normally when you go on a trip like this, you're eating out all the time. She lost 3 pounds. I think I probably lost 4 or 5 pounds because I didn't eat anything except dinner, and Mia barely eats. She eats like a bird as it is. So you have to literally, Mia, have a couple more bites. Mia, have a couple more bites. So it was a budget trip, dude. Dun dun dun. It takes days. I don't mess around like that anymore. Yeah, P Funk. We don't party like we used to, but it was a budget trip, dude. It was not like lap of luxury. But we had a decent place to stay, but it wasn't in the heart of all the action, and being able to do a live like this, it just wasn't optimal. I did the live from the deck in the cold, in the out of the room, but. A little iced tea, a little Milo's tea, dude. There you go, Rhonda. I understand that concept. I understand. So let's get the thumbs up if you have not. Um, Jim Simmons says Henning had a rant about modelers and said a new modeling plugin is coming out tomorrow that does not sound digital, and he played some models from it that sounded good. He did not say what it was. It's all relative. I don't really like plugins for modeling. I like to purchase something and have a piece of hardware. So I just as far as plugins go, I know I could probably get plugins and not buy a physical thing. Erickson is saying, did you record a walk and talk on the row? No, I did a different one, a new location where we were at, which is Opryland Hotel, and that really touristy area over there, which just gives you an idea of that area. That area is very touristy. It's not hip and trendy. And it's something different that we haven't done on the channel. But it's important to show people what's there. So if you want to stay in the heart of Nashville, I suggest you stay near downtown. If you want to stay away from downtown, then being where we were out by Opryland is an option. But as far as having the options and stuff, and the all the good stuff is really downtown, but it's a lot more expensive, dude. A lot more expensive, expensivo, dude. So yeah, we are doing that. And how's Hendersonville, TN? Well, Hendersonville, TN is a great residential place, a very good family area. It's nice. They keep it clean. It's clean. It's safe for the most part. But it's not like a hip or trendy like area. There's not a ton of like great guitar shops or anything. And Hendersonville is expensive. Prices of everything is out of pocket, literally. Everything is so expensive, dude. Mike H., glad to have our fellow moderator here. We're on a random live. Mike, this may be a marathon. This could go on for days. This could literally be there for days. Hendersonville is now expensive, and it is packed, and that is true. And it's growing way too fast, but Hendersonville is still a nice place. If I had to go back to Nashville, that's where I would go. I don't want to live in Franklin. To me, is too far away. Hendersonville feels closer to me. And I used to tough it out in Madison. Madison TN, which is really close to Nashville and East Nashville. But man, it's rough, dude. It's rough. Madison is not improved at all. And before I had a kid and all that, dude, I was more than happy to live in Gallatin. But man, for your wife to have to drive to the next town to go to a decent grocery store and all that, you just end up being in Hendersonville. You just pull out of our place, boom, there's a good grocery store and a Costco and a Sam's and all that right there. And in Madison, dude, I have no problem going in any hood, or bad neighborhood. I have no problem doing that. I'm dressed down 90% of the time. I can walk in and blend in anywhere. But my wife, she doesn't really understand the concept of going in. I tell her, don't take that purse why you like, dude, I dress like a bum on purpose. I don't want to like be a target. My wife likes to parade around in expensive clothes and stuff like that, dude. That's not me, dude. I shop in Hendersonville when possible, Rhonda says. Wife are going to look at Summerlin, Nevada in July. That would be cool, Mike. That might be cool, man. Summerlin, I'm not that familiar with it, but I think you can find some deals out there. You are going to deal with a lot of heat, dude. But the thing with it's dry heat, dude. T-shirts and overalls. I hear you, Rock. This is what people don't understand about the whole New York City. Almost every other store is a food place. Yeah, it's a lot of those like bodega type places or restaurants and stuff like that. It's about 20 minutes outside of Vegas. I think I can be busy out there. You think there's enough work there? Here's what I would suggest. If you want to play gigs, dude, it seems like Orlando is jumping as far as gigs. I know a keyboard player that moved down to Orlando. Dude, he's already working his butt off. It seems like because Orlando's a tourist area that there's tons tons of live playing gigs. Um, Vegas, man, I don't know, dude. Vegas is going through tough times right now as far as everything has gotten so expensive that people they're not doing the business that they used to have. Now, Vegas used to have tons of lounge bands and gigs, but man, it's totally different now. So I don't know, dude. Check it out. My accountant, the guy that does my taxes, is also a bass player, and he lives out there. So I could probably connect you with him, Mike, and he would probably tell you it's the fees killing the hotels out there. Yes, absolutely, Mike H. And from I've even heard people say that they don't care that they're killing it. The fees, almost like they don't want the lower income clientele anymore in Vegas, where they used to cater to everybody. Vegas used to, dude, you used to be able to go and get a dollar beer. I remember the place next to Circus. I think it would have a dollar Heineken. You could get a Heineken for $1 and a hot dog for $1 and stuff like that. It's there's none of that anymore. There's no more budget stuff. I mean, even I saw a thing the other day, and they were talking about food in Vegas, and now like your average hamburger on the strip is like close to $20. Yeah, back in the day, the 4.99 steak and eggs. It used to have all that $1.99 cocktail. Um, Mike is saying the ABC is the cheapest beer in Vegas, $4 for a tall boy. Yeah, I mean, and Vegas went to the high rollers, and I don't understand why they wouldn't cater to both, cater to everybody. I don't understand it. 12.99 double combo at In and Out. Yeah, that's Mike. That's high for that. That's a fast food burger, dude. What's a Heineken day? Says yeah, dude. Back in the day, dude, Heineken was something we would get. I know me and P Funk probably downed a few Heinekens. Paid $7 for a can of water in East Nashville. Rhonda, a lot of that is these branded waters, and these branded waters. And I'm not going to name a brand, but there's these trendy bubbling waters that you get in these bars, and they're selling them for $7. Dude, it's ridiculous. I mean, I could buy this whole 12 pack of sparkling water for, well, they're like $4, $5. Can a college kid find cheap places to eat in Nashville? Erickson, my best recommendation for that, taco trucks. Taco trucks, dude. I think the taco truck. I used to eat it. Me and my wife. I used to go get tacos at this taco truck in Madison, and I think the tacos were like $1.99 each. That would be what I would go, and I would get like 6 tacos, and what's that, $12 or whatever. Taco trucks, but not the trendy taco trucks, dude. You gotta go down Nolensville Road or Dickerson Road or Gallatin Road and hit those food trucks. Chances are the dudes running those trucks do not speak English, and and those are, you can get deals on that. But man, as far as where Belmont is, dude, everything's going to be expensive by Belmont. It's all going to be expensive. There is nothing cheap in that neighborhood. And dude, it's nothing, dude. The average cost we ate, man. The last place we ate in Nashville, it was bad, dude. We were, because traffic was so bad trying to get to our timeshare that we were staying at in by the Gaylord Hotel. we were stuck having to eat something on that strip because we knew we wouldn't be able to get in or out of there. And we went to a place, in that tourist area, and it even had a sign on it saying, "Oh, voted best food by the Tennessean" or something like that. Dude, it was bad. It was bad, and it was $40. It wasn't soy. It was just, dude, you're talking like a burnt hamburger that, tasted like it had been frozen like 8 months ago. And it was bad. But, it's like I've taught my wife when you have to eat sometimes in these rough places. Here's a road tip for you. Never eat chicken. Ever order a chicken sandwich or chicken plate or something like that in a dump. Always get a cheeseburger, you know, medium well or well, with very little on it, bread and beef, and eat that. And we couldn't even really eat the thing. She ordered a burger. I was like, that was the smart thing to order. She's learned from me that you can't. It's hard to mess up a hamburger, but man, if you mess up chicken and you eat bad chicken, dude, it's undercooked or whatever. Forget about it. You are going to be in a world of hurt. So that's what we did, man. But it was bad, dude. I don't know that there's anything. And look, and here's the other thing. We ate at a big name around the corner in a huge shopping complex. We ate at a big name Asian bistro place the night before because my wife says, "Oh, go get that." Look, man, and dude, it was awful. It was awful. I thought, man, I'm hungry. We it was another day where we had a breakfast bar and not a whole lot to eat during the day. It wasn't Iron Man. I'm not going to name names, but it wasn't that. We got that, dude, and I was like, I was so hungry. I'm like eating it anyway, but it was awful, dude. It was awful. But here's the thing: we didn't get sick, and nothing bad happened. But it was just, dude, you just know the noodles weren't cooked. I'm literally crunching on noodles. I mean, dude, it was just awful, dude. It was awful. Chris, I'm not naming any names. I'm not trying to, get it. I'm not trying to get any suits on me, bro. But, do with that information what you will. It was normally when we go to Nashville, it's an epic food experience. And aside from what we picked up for Thanksgiving, which was great, and I do a plug for that on the in the video that's going to come out. Aside from that, it was just not. Oh, and the one thing that was awesome, and it's an unknown gem, but Sapporo is a Japanese restaurant in Madison, TN, in the old Sam Ash parking lot there. And it was great. Me and my dad used to eat there once a week. That was awesome. My wife had salmon sakidon, which is a salmon, strips with rice and, all that kind of stuff, sushi type. It's basically sushi salmon on a bed of rice and a little bit of lettuce. Sake don, they call it. And I had a spicy combo of sushi and all that. Man, that was excellent. Sake don, but it's not sake. It's sushi called sake don, and that's because it's in a bowl. So it wasn't sake. It wasn't the alcoholic beverage. But it was man, that was great. And that was the same place where before we did the P-Funk video. We've always gone to that place. We've been going. They know us when we go in there. I used to go eat there once a week with my dad. So yeah, dude, there was a an Asian place restaurant in where was it, in Old Hickory, Tennessee, and they got caught washing some of their stuff, some of their pans and stuff like that in the Cumberland River. So yeah, it's just, you know what, dude? If you really knew what went on, it's why I'm funny about. Dave says Jen will be going to Japan. That's going to be epic, dude. Leanne says long time ago, ice cream from came from the lake. Ice came from the lakes. I did the delivery to restaurants. You wouldn't believe. Yeah, yeah, dude. I mean, I'm funny. I will. Here's the deal. I will walk into a restaurant. My wife will say, "Hey, let's go eat. This looks good." I'll walk in and go, "No, no, not doing it." To what? What? I go, "It's filthy." If I walk in a place and just right when I walk in, it's filthy. I'm like, dude, if this is filthy in the front of this place, what do you think the back of the kitchen looks like? And I grew up in the restaurant business. I if it's not clean if it doesn't look clean when I walk in, dude, I'm out, dude. Rhonda says, have you ever seen some of the USDA inspectors? I have not, Rhonda. But man, cleanliness is important. Temperatures are very important with restaurants. That's the main thing, dude. If something is not cooked thoroughly, if temperatures are not maintained, and this dude, you might think this is a guitar channel, and why is this dude talking about food? And why is this guy telling you to not eat chicken? Because, dude, if you go on the road and you eat the wrong stuff, you'd be screwed, dude. You know what? The show must go on. The show will go on even with your butt with food poisoning. And dude, we've all been that guy. Dude, I've had to go up on stage going, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this show. And the best thing that you could do, I should probably like do an episode where I put together like this is essentials for your backpack. Every musician has a backpack usually on the tour bus, and in that backpack are your survival things. You should probably have a flashlight. You should probably have some basic tools like a multi-tool or something, whatever you need to work on your guitars or whatever. But dude, even more importantly, you need some cough syrup, or you need Pepto Bismol. You need Tums. You need bandages. You need liquid. What do they call it? Liquid Band Aid or whatever. Neosporin, Neosporin, all of that stuff, dude. Uh, and so, dude, having all that rock says a painkiller. I never mess with that. Baby powder would be an option, or those monkey butt powder types things. Have a package of wipes, like dude wipes or something like that. Um, Dude, you want to do everything you can. Once you've experienced being sick out on the road, dude, you want to do everything you can every time you eat a meal, and you have to eat because, but dude, you really got to watch what you're doing, and look, it's great if you can be on a tour like Pyro John described the Michael Jackson tour, where everything's taken care of and you've got a great chef that's making meals or whatever. But dude, if you're in the crew, You know, he described it. What was the crew meals like? Prison slop. You'd have the artist, chef, curated food, and you'd have the stuff for, you know, this, and then you've got the prison slop that they feed the local hands. Um, so Pete Funk says I got food poisoning twice. It's no joke. Yeah, it's rough, dude. Yeah, French fries. French fries are usually safe. Um, that's an option. I used to do club sandwiches. It just seemed like I could handle that. I know it's processed, you know, luncheon meat and stuff like that, but usually that stuff would be okay as long as the temperatures are right. If I get it and that meat in there is not cold, that I'm like, if it's like, you know, warm or lukewarm, like kind of like luncheon meat, I don't know, dude. There's been many times where I might eat the piece of the bread and just and not eat the rest. You know, just some bread, some chips, whatever to soak up the booze from the night before and not take that chance, dude. But lukewarm lunch meat, not good, bro. Never eat mayo-based anything in the summertime. Absolutely, dude. That's another thing, man. You don't need to, you know, use a lot. Toast, dude. Toast is your friend. Purina Purina Ban Chow, dude. That's what they should have. Purina Ban Chow. No dressing on your burger in the summer. Yeah, that's another thing, man. Do they remove the kitchen on a tour bus? Tour bus doesn't really have a kitchen. It usually has a microwave and a little sink. The water, I wouldn't call that potable water. I wouldn't be drinking the water on the tour bus. There's a microwave, and that's usually it. And there's also usually a coffee maker. And that's it. There's not really a kitchen on a tour bus. Now, you could have a bus that had a kitchen, but most of them, it's just the microwave. So if you get, you know, if you're in the crew and you get, you know, on the bus late and the pizza's been largely picked over and there's some cold slices of pizza, well then, you know, you take a paper plate and you throw it in the microwave and heat it up for a minute, and you know, that's it. But man, I've never been on a tour bus that's had a full on like oven and all that stuff. It's the space is such a priority that putting up that much space for an oven or maybe a countertop with some stuff. Look, you're not going to put a countertop with burners that you could cook your soup. You're not going to put that on a tour bus because what if the driver slams on the brakes and the pot of boiling hot soup goes flying across the room? They're generally not going to have that. You would have, that's why the microwave, at least with the microwave, you could microwave your soup, it's in the bowl, and if the bus slams on its brakes or whatever, well, there's a mess in the microwave, but it's not all over everybody. So, man, you know, there's cooking, you know, cooking on the road, dude, is it's like, you know, here's the thing. What you could do is put on the rider, that you want a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter and a jar of Welch's grape jelly or preserves or whatever, and then have that, you know, on the bus. So if the catering is all screwed up and there's nothing to eat, at least you can have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I mean, you wouldn't want to try to live off that every day. If you watch the Big Brother show and they make people eat peanut butter and jelly when they're being punished. But that would at least give you something, you know. So that's the deal. Um, so man, you know, it's just it's one of those things. You could eat, you know, and that's the thing, man. You're much better off eating beef on the road than never eat fish on the road, dude. I don't eat chicken. You know, it's like, dude, steak is your friend. Don't eat runny eggs. You know, all of this stuff, dude, is real deal talk. Yeah. So Exhorta says he had a kitchen on the bus, but they parked before cooking. Yeah. So that's wise, man. That's why. Now I'm noticing, dude. Got some serious dings on this, dude. And this is becoming a relic. Even just playing it here at the house. Um, yeah, fish and chicken is a no-no on the road, dude. And I love sushi, but if I gotta play that day, I'm not eating sushi before the gig. If I have a couple days off and I'm in LA and I want to go to a high-end sushi place and um, get some good sushi, I might do it then. But man, if I got to play later that night, now here's what you could do: a bowl of rice. Bowl of rice is your friend, bro. Bowl of rice would be great. A little teriyaki sauce or something on it. That would be your friend on the road. But man, it's crazy, dude. The stuff that you have to deal with. We're having this is the marathon, dude. We're at 67 minutes. You could live off peanut butter and banana sandwiches for a couple months. Am I right? Elvis knew what was up. You know, and here's the thing. Didn't Elvis fried? It was fried peanut butter and bananas. He would fry it in a pan with butter, right? Um, and it had to be. I mean, dude, yeah, you know, it's just, dude. That's like deep South poverty food. Deep South poverty food, dude. That's when you're broke, and you know you want to feel like your sandwich is more substantial. You fry it in butter, right? And then that butter and everything, the oil and all that. But man, dude, that's a heart attack in a sandwich, dude. You know, it's like you can't win, dude. You know, I'm on the PB sandwich diet now after buying too many pedals. Mac, I know that feeling, dude. You know, for a while, here's every now and then, dude, I'll have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for breakfast. I find that if I eat that, I'm almost good till dinner time, man. It's very filling, man. Fry it in bacon grease, though. I think P Funk. I don't think P Funk's maybe had Nashville hot chicken, but from what I understand, they cook. A lot of places fry the chicken in bacon grease, and then the hot oil, the Nashville oil that they make is melted bacon grease with the spice added to it, and then they slather it on with a paintbrush. They slather on the spiced bacon grease oil on the fried chicken, and that I believe is the recipe for a mop. Yeah, get the mop out, dude. Here's what we could do. We could have Nashville hot turkey, and we'll fry an entire Nashville turkey hot chicken style, and then we'll get a mops. We'll get mops, dude, and we'll just bathe them in bacon grease and and hot sauce. But here's something you can do with a turkey, and it's that time of year. So for Christmas, dude, you could take my family used to do this. They would take bacon strips and wrap the turkey in bacon strips, and then that bacon would, oil would keep the turkey moist. But man, we're on a food kick today. They fry it in platypus oil, dude. Platypus oil. Is that a thing? I don't think that is a thing. But man, I'm amazed that the finish on this is a lot thinner than I would have thought it would be for a sparkle caster. Bust out the jumpsuit and the hot mops, dude. You know, they really missed out. They really should have an Elvis themed restaurant. I know that there were some places that every now and then you go to places and they have an Elvis. There was some place in Nashville. There's a place up the street that has ice cream, and it's the flavor of ice cream is Fat Elvis. And I'm like, well, what about Skinny Elvis? What if I want Skinny Elvis? Why don't you have that? And they laughed, But the Fat Elvis ice cream was peanut butter, and what was it? Peanut butter, and I think it had bananas and something like that. Can't believe there's not. Yeah, dude, there should be an Elvis. Dude, Elvis could have been like the Colonel Sanders of rock and roll. There's a lot of the recipes, and a lot. Some of them are on. Some of them are even, I think, on YouTube. Didn't they have his chef talked about? What about the potato chip fried chicken? The chicken with crumbled potato chips and deep fried. It would be bigger than the Colonel, dude. Elvis fried chicken. They could literally have an Elvis fried chicken, potato chip fried chicken, and meatloaf, fried chicken and meatloaf, and fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches. And dude, I'm sure there's a dozen other things that they could have put on the menu. And then you get one of those pin-up pictures of Elvis, in the 50s, like as the thing, dude. Yeah, Mac is saying Elvis is an interesting name. You know what? Think about this, dude. Eat like Elvis. Exactly. Man, if Elvis had been called Steve Gill or something like that, would he have been as big? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe having that really unique name that just rolled off the tongue. Hillbilly. Yes, dude. The solo saga continues. Hillbilly, what's happening, brother? Thank you, brother. Kenny Rogers Roasters. Yeah, I mean, if Kenny Rogers can have a friggin' restaurant, Steve Presley would not have been a huge star. I don't care how cool he looked. Steve would have not made it. So he in bed, no exercise. Bob Presley wouldn't have cut it, dude. He had, and what if his twin had lived, Aaron? Oh, wasn't his, no, Jesse. His twin brother was Jesse, right? What if the twin had lived? What if Jesse had stolen all of Elvis's thunder and he was the better looking one? And then Elvis was relegated to being, Hillbilly Hank is saying Elvis is alive and he became a pastor. Wouldn't that be appropriate? But unfortunately, I don't think that's true. I'm waiting on another Brad in the Kitchen edition. What if you are out of ramen? Great idea, man. There's so many, dude. There's so many, like, if you're broke, meals, dude. I used to keep just random things in my cabinet when I was broke, and I could literally like go okay, I've got a can of beans and a thing of spaghetti noodles. What do you make? I mean, obviously, and hopefully you've got some seasoning and stuff like that. What if Elvis Butler was like the guy living in Arnold's chest in Total Recall? Man, I don't remember that character. Um, Elvis hanging out in our man. Here, that is the tragedy. Is that Elvis was never allowed to perform in Europe or England and all that, dude. He was gonna do a whole like thing and go and do these tours, but the Colonel wouldn't have it because he couldn't control it. But man, so much money was left on the table, man. I think they were offering him $1 million to go perform in Japan. You leave money on the table, dude. What if it was Elvis's sister, Jessie Presley? That would have been an epic timeline. Yeah. Yeah, whatever, dude. Surviving as a musician is being able to make a meal out of anything, whatever you've got in the cupboard. Hugely popular in Germany, Elvis, that is. Well, yeah, and Elvis, dude. If you want to read some interesting stories, when he was in the army and he was in Europe, he did spend a lot of time in Germany. And there's an epic story of when he went on leave with a bunch of his friends and they went to France and they went to one of those can clubs with the showgirls and all that. Elvis ended up pulling all the showgirls back to the hotel for an epic party. And the party went on for like, 20 hours or something. And they literally had to call the hotel and say, Elvis, we need the girls back. The girls have to get back to work. Um, that was when it was, that was a wild. If you can imagine, there's some funny stories online about that when that went down. Elvis went nuts. They used to joke about us when we were on the road, said we were like sailors on leave. Imagine Elvis on leave and the power that he had to be able to go into a show, a cabaret or burlesque show in France and pull every single dancer out of there to go party. We need the girls back. Yeah. Yeah. They literally had to call him and says, Monsieur, we need you to send the girls back. It is time for them to get back to work. Um, yeah, the Colonel held Elvis back. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. 77 minutes. This is a epic time. Let's see what do we got here. I haven't played this one in a while. I'm gonna play this guitar for a minute, just to break it up, dude. Just to break it up. Hang this one up in the spot. Give this one a little rest. Pull this sucker out. We don't do requests. We don't play. We don't play any riffs. But I've got this patch. I just built today on the Helix. Woo! We got some doage. Leanne, thank you so much. You gotta hit that like. This is the line 6. You are correct, Mac. They're demanding more legato. All right, let's get some legato, dude. The legato, dude. Breaking it up. Raining on my snow, disaster. This guitar thing just may work out for you, Iron Man. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. This is a JCM 800 patch that I put on here, and I like it a lot, man. I like this Helix thing. I'm still learning how to operate it, and I still don't know why I can't. Okay, there we go. This is, you could hear the basic tone. Now this is a JCM 800 patch on the Line 6 Helix. I'll take the overdrive off. Here's the basic sound. I got a cable hitting the cone over there. There we go. So, Brad, I still have my 93 Strat with lace sensors. Very cool, dude. Hello, Paula. How you doing? So here is the patch with just the amp without having any of the overdrives. Very cool Strat kind of sounding with a JCM 800 kind of cranked. You can kind of get it to clean up. Right, but with a humbucker, it becomes that. Yeah, the room mic is this. So this is, you're just hearing this in the room. Which I think, I don't know what's going on, what you guys are hearing, but it seems to do pretty good. Now, I'll be right back. Let me go check. Go check on Mia. Make sure she's all right. I'll be right back. Hey, honey, are you okay? You need to go potty. Go potty. Okay, then go potty. Did you have an accident? You did? Okay, then go potty. Go potty. I'll be in there in a minute. All right, dad duty calls. So I've got to roll. But thank you, everybody, for hanging with me. And we will see you again soon. Thank you, everybody. Thanks to all the super chats. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you all soon.